Good morning, Morning Musings by Melinda. How's everybody doing today? It is 3/16/2021, and the numerology for that is acceptance. So today is about accepting who you are and your circumstances. You cannot change anything without accepting it first. If a man is struggling in quicksand, he sinks faster than if he accepts that he's there and relaxes. Then he'll stay on the surface till hopefully somebody comes along with a branch and pulls him out. That's the way life is. The more you accept your circumstances, and that's not talking about accepting circumstances in a negative or a victim mode, but as long as you find an energy frequency of ease that comes over you and you honor that you're in the moment, you'll find ways and means that the universe will provide to you, God will provide to you, to make changes or movement for yourself. It's about a calm vibrational frequency. And this week we're talking about karma, and karma is a vibrational frequency. Yesterday we discussed that it was the universal checks and balances. It's not an eye for an eye, actually, the way that we assume that it is. Karma is really about repeating patterns and understanding that we are supposed to learn from the patterns that we are repeating. So how do you know what your karma is? Well, if you're stuck in a life cycle where you are repeating things over and over and over again, and you are the common denominator, then you are needing to learn that karma. So, for example, if you've been in multiple relationships in which you've been the caretaker and you focused on the other person in the relationship and you end up breaking up because you've given all you've got and nothing changes, then you're the common denominator. And the karma for that is not that you're learning unconditional love, because you're not loving yourself unconditionally by repeating those kinds of patterns. And the first thing that we need to understand at a soul level is how to love, respect, and honor ourselves. So that kind of repetitive pattern means that your karma is to look at yourself, take care of yourself, and love yourself. Now, we often think of, narcissist is a word that's thrown around a lot in today's world, that this one's a narcissist or that one's a narcissist or this one person doesn't have a conscience or whatever. True narcissists actually are rare, by the way. Sure, there are people that are wounded and vulnerable, so it looks like they don't have conscience because they walk around or run amok in an inappropriate way. But we kind of throw things out and kind of put it on to other people instead of taking responsibility for ourselves. So when you're attracting somebody that's selfish to you, it means that you have not taken care of self. I think I said that properly. You can look at what your karmic profile is by looking at generational patterns, by looking at your parents, how your parents were with each other, how your parents were with each child, and how each child interacted with each other. There's a lot of situations where you need to understand karma from that. So when you're looking at your karmic profile, you have to look at nature, nurture. You have to look at Akashic Records, which is something we're going to talk about tomorrow, which is really the understanding of reincarnation. And I don't think it takes away from my Christianity to believe in reincarnation. In fact, there are a few references to that in the Bible that we'll discuss tomorrow. But you have to understand your Akashic Records, what it was that you may be trying to work out as a repetitive pattern in this lifetime from another. You have to have some level of emotional maturity to understand your karma. A lot of times people brush away their own karma by embracing something that may not be the appropriate thing to embrace. That's big in the New Age movement, actually, where people are blaming it on a dark spirit or a negative entity or, something like that, rather than taking personal responsibility for their shadow side here on planet Earth. And it's really, karmically speaking, all about your personal responsibility. You can't blame God. You can't blame the devil. You have to embrace your own soul, the sustenance of your soul and who you are, why you came here to the earth plane, what you're here to work out, how to understand that, and to move forward to process your karma. So the first way to understand your karmic patterns is to understand, what you're repeating in life. Do you gravitate to certain people that require your care? Are you repeating relationships with different people, but it's really the same person? Perhaps you're always in a situation where you have a friend that betrays you, or something along those lines. Well, that doesn't mean that you betrayed them in a past life, because it's, again, repeating energy. It just means that somehow along the line you felt, knowing that we are not blaming parents, we are just looking at why we chose certain patterns, but somewhere along the line we felt betrayed in some form or fashion by a parent. That's why we attract that kind of thing to us, okay? So if I killed you in a past life, it doesn't mean we come back in another life and you kill me. It means if I killed you in a past life, we come back in another life and you give me the opportunity to kill you again. Did I say that right? I think I did. It's a repeating pattern. But there's also a way that you can look at your karma for numbers. And because it's a numbers universe, Pythagorean and all that, right? So there are ways to look at what your karma is through numbers, numerology, which is a little bit tough to teach in a morning musing, but I will do the best I can to do it quickly. And I think this will look upside down to you as the camera shows, okay? But my birth date, for example, is 8/28/1954. When you're doing numerology, please make sure that you put 1960, 1980, 1992, 2003. Make sure you're putting the year on it, not just that, the correct years together on it. So 8/28/1954, if we added that all up, it would be 8, 10, and 18, and 1 is 19. That's 28 plus 9 is 37, and that boils down to 1. So what you're doing is you're taking your birth date and you're adding it up to make 2 digits, and then you're adding those 2 digits up to make a single digit, okay? So for me, the 3 is expression of inner gifts. The 7 is about trust and openness, and the 1 is about creativity and understanding the creative flow. Now, you can look numbers up on the internet. That's really easy to do. You don't have to buy this book, but I like this book. It's called The Life You Were Born to Live by Dan Millman. He also wrote The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. And in this book, as we go back again to my numbers, it tells me in this book exactly what I might be in regards to my positive side, which is my light side. And here on my light side, it actually says that I should be doing work in healing. And in negative side, it's about the shadow side, feel repressed bitterness about relationships. Okay, so there's the light and there's the shadow. It gives you your life path issues as far as health and relationships and so on. So, it's a... and lastly, if we wanted to take it down to the very last digit, I would have a 0 in my numerology, and that would be strength in intuition. So this is a great book to understand what you're working on in this lifetime, okay? And we're all working on a relationship with ourselves, not with others. The relationship that we have with other people is always a reflection, a mirror of something within us. Even the relationships that are not happy relationships, that are nasty or difficult, they're still about an aspect of you. So as we continue to talk about karma this week, tomorrow I'm going to give you some references in the Bible about reincarnation. I'm going to tell you a fascinating story about, as a Catholic girl, how I came to believe in reincarnation. And I hope that you will take a look at your numbers through your birth date and look up those numbers on what you mean. And I hope that you will look at repetitive patterns in your life and see how you can extricate from the patterns by taking personal responsibility and moving that energy in a different direction. So, I thank you, Kim. Tori, how nice to see you. I appreciate doing these musings, and so I hope that this week about karma will help, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.